Alright, so here's the next video, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do for mods coming up. So the first thing right away is, once this thing comes out, I'm putting new turbos on it. So I didn't really expect that. I saw a group buy through MMP, and they had these badass turbos just come out. They're called the MMP 1Ks because they can approximately do 1,000 crank horsepower or something, which I wouldn't be surprised. So the last MMPs, the Stage 3s that came out, I think I've seen like just over 700 wheel on those upgraded twins, which is pretty badass. So a lot of people were claiming twins to be unreliable and just not holding up properly, but I think part of the reason is because they were maxing the crap out of those turbos. So obviously they're small little turbos in a hot area, and you know, when you max them out, they're just not going to last that long. It's not going to happen. So you want to make sure that you have a buffer zone. So with these MMP 1Ks, with proper mods and fueling, they should come out to about 800, 850 wheel horsepower, and I'm probably not going to touch anywhere near that. So my plan maximum is probably about over 700 wheel horsepower on those turbos, but right away I'm going to be aiming for about 450 at the tire. Along with those turbos, I've got some MMP inlets and outlets. So with stock turbos, I've actually had these since the stock turbos. I never got a chance of putting them around. Apparently, they gain you somewhere around like 40, 50 wheel with this in a tune, which is insane. But if you see how restrictive everything is on the inlets and outlets of this car, you'll know why you get so much power after these mods. So once the engine's out, I can go ahead and show you how restrictive that system is. And those are relocation, so instead of being over there and wrapping around the engine, they're actually going to sit right here. So it's gonna make everything nice and simple. As far as the intercooler, this is the 7-inch VRSF, and I honestly thought that this was going to cut it because this is a fat-ass intercooler, but I was wrong. So I need to go with a 7.5-inch. I'm either going to go with the Pinnacle Performance, like custom one that's good for like 1,000 horsepower or whatever, or I'm going to go for the 7.5 VRSF. I know it'll fit right up and it'll be an easy install. Just got to cut a little bit more of the plastic. But this thing would heat soak like mad on these new turbos, so I'm actually going to sell this one. It only has about 300 miles on it, so I should get some decent money back for that. So with the new power, I'm going to need to be able to get the proper fuel to the engine so I can make the power that I want. With about 650 wheel, I'm going to need port injection. Now there's another way you can go about it. It's called a Vargas turbo shotgun, and it's supposed to like overdrive the high pressure fuel pump, but I don't want to do that because the high pressure fuel pump is one of those items that just aren't designed very well, and eventually they go out, so I don't want to really force anything to work harder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the MMP port injection. The MMP port injection is like a little thick metal gasket that sits between the intake manifold and the head, and it's got 6 separate injectors in there too. So it's going to have a controller to control those injectors. They're Bosch injectors, and that's going to give me the fuel that I need. So the other thing that I'm going to need to change too is the fuel pump. So I mentioned I had a 450 Walbro in the car before. That's probably not going to cut it for the power that I want because I don't want to be sitting too close to, like I said, I want some buffer zone. So I'm going to probably do a second 450 Walbro. I don't know if I'm going to do a bucketed system or a bucketless yet. We'll see exactly how it goes. But there's like a couple things I had in mind. There's like probably the Vader Solution Kit. He makes really good stuff, and he makes it really affordable, so I'll probably go that direction. So with all that power, I'm obviously going to need to restart on the maintenance. I'm going to make sure that I get, probably going to go with the brand new injectors just to get a good start. And then I'm going to get brand new O2 sensors. I'm going to get a brand new high pressure fuel pump and a brand new water pump. I just want to make sure that everything is going to be okay there. And then I'm probably going to end up going with the Precision Raceworks or the Bimmer Life. I can't decide which one, but definitely going with an upgraded ignition system so I won't have those crazy misfire problems like all the other N54s do on those stock shitty coils. So that's more or less the engine side and the performance side of things. And this whole video, you're probably staring at my car wondering why it has one black fender and why it has one gray fender. So obviously, if you can tell the difference, look how thin this fender is and look how wide this fender is. So this is the 1M fender, and I'm obviously doing the 1M conversion. This shit's badass. I love how it looks. Super badass. I'll go ahead and give you a view from the back over here, but you can see how wide it sticks out right there too. So I should be able to fit about 265, 275 up front, and that's going to help tremendously with the understeer because these cars have shitty understeer. One of the big things that people do is they do control arms to help with that, but I think having massive front tires is really going to help that the most, especially with the control arms that I'll add in there. So along with the front fenders, I actually got the bumper sitting over here. So this is all OEM stuff, by the way. So this is the OEM 1M front bumper. I actually got a good deal from a buddy who works at BMW. I just got a little bit cheaper than what you would buy with shipping and all that stuff from ECS or Turner or wherever else you can buy these from. With the bumper and the two fenders, I spent about $1,400, which was still expensive. But honestly, 1M parts, they're going up. So if you're gonna do this swap on your car, I would just bite the bullet and buy all that shit now, so you don't have to pay the tax as it keeps going up and up and up. Because a lot of people spent like $400 on the bumper. I spent $600 on the bumper, and those are the guys who swapped their car a couple years ago with the front end and all that. So I can't just replace the front end. I gotta do something with the rear because it just looks so much better with the wide rear, the wide front, the badass rear dual exit bumper, and the side skirts. So right away you can kind of see the difference between the side skirts. So this is a stock 135i side skirt, and this is the fender right here. There's a pretty big gap. You guys probably can't see it that well. Let me see if I can move this. Yeah, so you can definitely see how sunken in it is. And that's definitely not going to fly. So what I have to do is get the 1M side skirt, and that's going to match up perfectly with the fender right there. But what will happen, because it's made for a 1M, is that the side skirt, as it runs back this way, it won't be flush like the 135i. It'll actually stick out about that much, because it's going to be wider for the wide rear fender. So I'm doing something a little bit different, because doing this whole fucking quarter panel is stupid expensive. It's like probably $6 to $8 grand with paint and labor and all that stuff, because they have to sand it all down, cut it out, weld stuff, frame sealer, blah, 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 blah. It gets really expensive. And just the fender alone, or excuse me, the quarter panel alone on both sides, it's like $2,400 or some shit like that. So there's a company called Prior Design, and they actually made a fender flare that perfectly fits up to the side skirt and to the rear bumper like OEM. You just have to bolt it in. You have to do a lot of work on the fender. You have to cut some stuff, and it's a big body project, but it's going to be a lot cheaper, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars cheaper than going with that full quarter panel. So that's gonna give me the wide track on the rear. That's going to match up to the side skirt. It's going to match up to the rear bumper, and that's going to be my 1M conversion. After the 1M conversion's all done, I'm going to try to throw it on some Olin coilovers. They're super expensive. They're like $2,300 without the Swift springs. And so this thing is definitely taking all the money. But honestly, I love it. And it's totally worth it, because when it's done, it's going to be badass. So hopefully this thing will done, I don't know when. I'm not trying to rush it, but I am trying to rush it at the same time. I want this shit on the streets. So throughout my channel, you guys are going to see a lot of random videos like this, sometimes short, sometimes long. Yeah, I talk a lot, but it's a lot of important information that you can learn from. And I'm going to be doing tutorials whenever I have the chance. Like when I do that 1M conversion, I'm going to be filming everything so I can show you guys how to do it. And whenever I install the turbos, I mean, regardless, yeah, it's going to be outside of the engine, but I do want to film all this stuff so that you guys can have content, and hopefully I can get some subscribers and keep making videos like this, because this is what I love to do and this is my passion. So I really love this car. Thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to making some more content for you guys.